joining us live for NBA basketball on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan with Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg and our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. A contest between conferences, Oracle Arena, Oakland, California, where the Warriors take their home floor. All fueled up and ready to go. Let's check out who's on the floor, courtesy of Gatorade. So for Chicago right now, Gibson is the 4 with Gasol at the 5. Rose is the 1 with Butler as the 2. And it's Dunleavy in at the 3 spot. For a franchise that had so much success under his tenure, there was sure a lot of friction with Tom Thibodeau, and the Bulls front office surprised a lot of people, I know, including yourself.
Yeah, you know, it's not something that you see often, a winning coach at odds with his GM and president. With how often their differences came up, though, you knew something was afoot.
And the dunk by Barnes.
And that's the classic 1-2 punch right there. I mean, nice steal. And how about the elevation, Kevin, on the finish?
And, Greg, nothing spurs some quick offense like a great play defensively.
That indicates the importance of great on-the-ball defense, as was displayed right there.
The offensive rebound, Gasol. And it's sent back by Bogut. Green kicks to Barnes. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. A nice bounce-back year for Harrison Barnes, Clark, in year 3. Moved into the starting lineup last year and really responded.
Yeah, he did. I think he benefited from the new system. He was miscast as an isolation scorer, but when he can spot up for threes and catch the ball on the move, that's his game.
I'll tell you what, Harrison Barnes, very athletic. He certainly passes the eye test. And with his size, he can punish smaller wings and create mismatches. And then also he can play some small ball power forward at times as well with the way they like to space the floor.
Now here's Thompson. That doesn't go, and he's 0 of 1 from the field.
And typically he has the touch to finish when he's in tight, but not sure on that possession.
Shot's good by Gibson.
And you know, it took them a while to get going, but they finally connected now on their 4th shot of the game. And you talk about Harrison Barnes overall. He had a nice uptick in his rebounding last year, and that was a goal of his. He wanted to get his activity level up. And oftentimes the difference between being good and great is just making those small incremental improvements in different facets of your game.
Dunleavy's shot is off.
That's exactly how you have to defend him. He's a guy that the D needs to be aware of at all times.
Curry with it. Now guarded by Gibson. Green kicks to Barnes. 6 to shoot. Bogut dishes to Curry. Rose with the block. And the ball travels out of bounds. It was last touched by Rose. Here in the first, just under 2.5 minutes played so far. The Bulls have gone just 1 for 5 from the field to start the quarter. They could use a big shot here to get this offense going.
Sure could, Kev. I mean, too many empty trips. They need some points.
Here's Gasol, banked in off the glass.
And that putback about as easy a bucket as you're going to get.
Exactly what happens when you don't box out, Greg.
Golden State moving it around. They double-team Curry. Bogut the pass to Thompson. Dishes it to Green. Just 5 on the clock. Golden State needs to get off a shot. Curry, good.
And a really good way to start the game. He's a guy who, if he gets it going early, he's going to give you problems.
Well, you know, last season, Steve Kerr came into a good situation, but a touch awkward. The team wasn't 100% on board with the firing of the previous coach, but he won them over in a hurry. And that's the kind of play you just do not want to give up defensively. You lose the possession and give up a quick 2 at the other end. That's losing basketball.
Especially when you can't afford to give up any buckets. That's a nice lead now. A lot of times in the first quarter, it will dictate how big a role a player has later on.
Greg, Steve Kerr did win over the locker room in a hurry last season. They had finished a successful run under Mark Jackson. Winning accelerates everything. They certainly bought into it.
They really did. And people don't often appreciate how difficult it is to come into a situation where expectations are that high. But he also went out of his way to empower his players and really give them some accountability. Didn't try to hide anyone on defense and played to the strengths of his team on the offensive end.
What a year for the Warriors. Clark won their division for the first time in 39 years, ran away with the very tough Western Conference.
And there were a number of surprises last season, Kevin, but the Warriors were at the top of the list. I mean, I don't think anybody, including you and I, pegged them to be as good as they were.
Especially the way the finals began.
Exactly.
Catching up on the changes for Golden State. Spates checked in for Bogut. Iguodala comes in for Barnes. Leandro Barbosa, he's checked in for Klay Thompson. And it's Livingston in for Curry. And the Warriors making a change here. Ezeli's checked in, and a change for the Bulls. Aaron Brooks, he's checked in for Derrick Rose. Ezeli pulls up, and that one goes long.
And the Warriors won 51 games back in 2014, improved that mark by 16 wins last season. Among teams that won at least 50 games in the previous year, that 16-game improvement was an NBA record for the Warriors.
And finished off by McDermott.
And that's how the coach would draw it up on the fast break from start to finish.
Yeah, and what a finish it was, guys. Really nicely done.
Barbosa kicks to Iguodala. And he gets it to go from the corner. Iguodala's got his first basket of the night.
It goes without saying the Warriors set franchise records all over the place with their play. Their win total being the highest ever, but also of note it was the first time they've won 50 games in back-to-back seasons. They seem to truly have arrived as a top-notch franchise in this current state of the NBA.
Brooks with it. Barbosa picks him up. Here's McDermott. Kick out to Moore. And stolen by Spates. Livingston dishes to Iguodala. Good. Iguodala's got his second basket of the game.
Nice work on the inside. Hard to get that one up and over the big fella.
Well, it's not supposed to be easy down there, and a little artistry on the inside helped him make it happen.
8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Here's McDermott. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Brooks. McDermott's got 5. 16 seconds left in the first quarter. The drive by Iguodala. He feeds it to Ezeli. Here's Barbosa. And Mirotic sends it back. With 4 seconds on the clock. And it's laid in by Brooks.
Really aggressive play there. Taking it to the rack against the big fella.
You know, Greg, aggressiveness is really the only option when you're on the wrong side of the size equation.
Plenty of offense in this close. And Pau Gasol, after some great years and some difficult years, talks about now his newfound excitement playing.
I mean, I think it's been noticeable.
I think you'd have to say that Gasol's decision to go to Chicago, Clark, was great. He clearly gave it a lot of thought. It's hard to imagine him having made a better pick.
You know, I agree. Not only is he happy, but so are his teammates, Ask Rose, Noah, and Butler. Those guys love playing with him, and you can see how the change of scenery rejuvenated the big Spaniard, too.
And we got a close game here as we get back to the second quarter. And a chance to catch up on some numbers here, the hustle stats for the Bulls.
You know, they've done a great job of getting a hand up on shooters. Actually have gotten a lot of blocks as well, solidifying that defensive effort.
Yeah, the other thing, though, is they have attacked in the open floor. They're definitely getting a lot of easy ones that way.
It's the Splash Brothers, Curry and Thompson. They're in the backcourt. Ezeli is out there with Draymond Green, and it's Rush.
That happens. Yeah. And guys, right now, the defense mentally not there. Can't afford too many of those in a close game like this.
Yeah, Jay, you're right. Almost a free run. Don't you think? Clark to the hoop for him there.
Momentum can swing on plays like that, Kevin, especially when the finish has that much thunder on it.
And the highlight reel replay brought to you by Kia. Good stuff on that Kia Slam Cam.
The lead changes hands once more. There has been no separation between these two teams.
You know, it's made for one heck of an entertaining game. Even when it hasn't been the best basketball being played, it sure has been fun to watch.
Nikola Mirotic, drafted as a late first-rounder, Clark, back in 2011. The Spanish star finally made his rookie debut in the NBA last season, and it was worth the wait.
It sure was, Kevin. I mean, once he started to get consistent PT, I mean, he was remarkable. Can run like the wind for a big guy, not that strong, but more aggressive than you'd think.
Andrew Bogut checked in for the Warriors. And Chicago also making a switch. Gasol's checked in. Butler from outside. Now in the scoring column with that deuce. 1 for 2 this game.
Not the biggest fan of that shot, but he had the space to get it off, so why not? And back to Mirotic last season, per 36 minutes, he averaged 18 points, 9 rebounds. He was also a tremendous foul shooter for a rookie big, and made the all-rookie first team, was second in Rookie of the Year voting. I mean, what more could you ask for? And started hot, and he's only gotten hotter.
Rose passes to Gasol. The kick outside to Butler. Good ball movement here by the Bulls. Lots of room. Draymond Green pulls it in. Green's got 3 rebounds so far in the game.
And, you know, for Mirotic, his value extends to the defensive end as well. He did a surprisingly good job of racking up blocks and steals last season. You have to believe that if he improves his power and consistency, an all-star nod isn't so far off.
And up the court come the Warriors on the break. It's Curry. That time on the assist by Thompson. Curry's got the game tied up here for the Warriors. Second quarter of play with almost 3 minutes gone. Holiday goes in. Does not find the basket. His second miss. He's now 1 for 3. Coach is liking Clark what he's seeing from his offense.
And shoot, why wouldn't he? I mean, guys, they're filling it up with ease, executing, getting quality shots. I mean, this is fun to watch.
And guys, they've put the defense on the defensive.
Way to work it up quick. That's a nice break.
Golden State's gone 0-2 from deep here in the second. Here's Butler. It's rebounded by Golden State.
You know what? His finishing ability, not really at the level that you would expect from a pro, but he's going to have to start playing with more force.
So many people overlook Pau Gasol prior to last season, seemed to think that Clark, he was past his prime.
Well, he was a starter in the All-Star game and a huge reason the Bulls played as well as they did. It was a big season for him. A lot of GMs shaking their head for not going harder after him.
And the Warriors with a completely new 5 on the floor. So Chicago going with an almost entirely new group. Taj Gibson's checked in for Portis. Dunleavy comes in for Jimmy Butler. Morris checked in for Justin Holiday. And it's Brooks in for Rose. Left side Gasol. Over to the left wing. Gibson. And the rejection by Iguodala. They get it back. And it's Spates with the rebound.
And sometimes we all just want to show people that we have the range.
Yeah, speaking from experience, we already know how good his range is. He shouldn't be firing from that deep.
You know, and with Pau Gasol, it was weird to think that the Lakers were just so ready to let him go and move on.
Clark kicks to Iguodala. And it's Iguodala again missing. Chicago's gone 1-2 on 3-pointers here in the second quarter so far. Brooks with it. Barbosa picks him up. And Brooks gets it to go.
And with the skill set that Pau has and the year he had, there's no telling how long he can play at a high level. Again, one of those guys that never been reliant on the athletic ability to have an impact.
And with that, the Chicago lead is cut to just 1 on the basket from Spates.
Fantastic ball movement. They're picking them apart with their passing.
Purposeful passing it is, partner. Their last 10 points have all come off assists.
And the first time out of the game called for Chicago. Last season, the Bulls were a tough matchup, solid margin of victory for them, and never looked overwhelmed, Clark.
Yeah, you know what? They're a team that's even-keeled, the type of team that can win anytime they take the floor. They have a system that works and good talent, actually excellent talent to make it special, and that combination is a winning one.
Sean Livingston, he's checked in for Leandro Barbosa. And Joakim Noah is checked in for the Bulls. Mirotic is checked in for Taj Gibson. 1:12 left to play here in the second quarter. Noah's shot is off.
And you talk about the Bulls being able to beat anybody in the league. They did. They did that last season. One of only 3 teams to register 1 win against every other team in the league back in 2015.
And Moore kicks to Dunleavy. Can't